Ladies and gentlemen, like so many of you out there, I am craving some Battlefield 6. I am so sick and tired of the Call of Duty cycle. I want to play something new, and I had so much fun during the beta that I just need October 10th to come quicker. But unfortunately, every single day that we get closer to the launch, we are seeing good news for Battlefield 6, but we're also seeing some concerning or bad news as well. So I wanted to react to this video from the exclusive FAZE. It's all in the description below. Make sure you guys go like the video, subscribe to his channel if you have not already. But I wanted to see his thoughts and opinions about all this news for Battlefield 6, as well as give you guys my opinions. So if you guys could, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe if you have not already. Also, let me know what you guys think. Is Battlefield 6 going to kill Call of Duty? Let me know in the comment section below. But other than that, let's get into the video.
Diving right in, let's talk about crossplay a little bit. We obviously had crossplay available in the beta, and we knew crossplay existed, but we got a bit of extra clarification here. And the first thing they clarified is if you have crossplay turned on, while you can match with any platform, if you're a console player, they're going to be first looking for other console players to match you with within a set time frame. And then if they need to fill up the lobby more after that time frame, then they will look towards PC players to fill those spots.
I think I speak for every console player watching this video, and if you agree with me, make sure you guys hit that like button like it did something dirty to you. Console players don't want to play with PC players. I think that's a fact because everybody knows the majority of cheaters are on PC, and nobody wants to play against a possible cheater. Nobody wants to play against somebody that has 400 FPS, you know, just insane advantages when it comes to graphics, gameplay, etc. They just want to play against other people on PlayStation, Xbox, whatever the case may be. So I think this is awesome. I think this is a change that Call of Duty should make as well. Even though I'm a PC player and I only have been a PC player for the past year, I think console players should only play against the majority of console players. And it's just something that should be the new standard for every single FPS game. And it's cool to see that Battlefield 6 is doing this. We'll see how it works out.
So even with crossplay on, if you're a console player, you should primarily be playing against other console players.
That's awesome,
especially
man.
If you're in a higher player count region. Now that's something that's not brand new information, but it was nice to see some extra clarification when it comes to this. More interestingly,
I didn't know that.
and
That's
something
awesome.
that is new information, at least to my knowledge, this is brand new information. They did mention console-only crossplay will happen if you have crossplay turned off. He said when you flip that switch, then you get basically console-only crossplay, and that is we don't fill with PC players. And the interviewer just asked for clarification here. He said, so PlayStation players can play with Xbox players if crossplay is off still? And the answer was yeah. So that means if I'm a PlayStation player...
That's awesome. I mean, having crossplay off, the console players should be able to play against each other, whether it's Xbox and PlayStation, no matter what. I mean, it doesn't matter at that point in time. So that's awesome. Because, like I said, if you don't want to play against any PC players, if you don't want to play against any possible cheaters that get around the anti-cheat within Battlefield 6, if that's possible, which it probably will be at the start of this game, which sucks because there's a lot of losers out there, you get the chance to still turn crossplay off, but it's not going to slow down or affect your matchmaking time to try to find a match. So that's awesome. It's actually kind of making me want to buy Battlefield 6 for my PS5, but again, I bought this PC so I could play video games on it, but I mean, I have a feeling that a lot of people are just going to turn crossplay off because you're still going to be able to play against other console players. So for PC players, this might affect you quite a bit if a lot of people see this setting and like this option and they end up turning off crossplay. So that kind of sucks for us legit PC players, but I totally understand it. I get it with how bad Call of Duty has been with the cheaters and how people with PCs are just abusing the anti-cheat over there. I totally understand it, but we'll see how it plays out. It's a good change in my opinion because console players should feel that type of way. It's been a rough few years for Call of Duty.
For instance, and I turn off crossplay, I'm not just matching with other PlayStation players. I'm also matching with Xbox players, and basically turning off crossplay is just eliminating PC players from your player pool and sticking you into a console-only version of crossplay.
It is what it is.
And that's great news in my eyes. I think the majority of console players that want a crossplay option are mainly just looking to disable crossplay with PC players.
Yes.
And they're totally fine playing with other console players that are on a different console platform.
Exactly.
So instead of having multiple options where you can have full crossplay off, so if you're PlayStation, you only play with PlayStation users, or console only crossplay, so you can open it up to PlayStation and Xbox players, or crossplay on, where you open it up to any platform. They're just doing either off, which is console only, or on, which is PC players are allowed to play with you. I like the simplicity of that, and I think for the most part, people will be happy to hear that news.
Call of Duty should do it too.
Additionally, when on the topic of crossplay, they did mention they've completely redone aim assist from their Battlefield 2042 version, and they focused on what they call their combat triangle, and that is infantry versus infantry. I think there was a bit of a typo there. infantry versus vehicles, and vehicles versus vehicles. And we did sort of see this throughout the beta, not really about the combat triangle, but we saw that they did rework aim assist. One area that we found out about is while there was an option for it still in the settings, they actually completely eliminated aim assist snapping, which is when you aim down sight near a target, it will snap toward that target.
I never understood why Battlefield 6 even had a snapping ability. It brought so many like weird sus clips that us Call of Duty players weren't used to, but also like, why should that even be a setting? That just to me feels a little too robotic and not really natural. And that's the reason why I like Battlefield 6 was because the natural aim skill you needed to be able to be good at this game. It's not like Call of Duty where the aim assist is absolutely broken with the rotational aim assist. It's still terrible in Black Ops 6. Literally, the robot, if you're using a controller, does all the work for you. That's why I like Battlefield. It actually took some gun skill. It actually took, a lot of, gun skill in general to be able to do good at the game. And, seeing them rework aim assist to make it less robotic-y and more, the person is actually controlling it themselves is awesome. And I think that's going to create huge skill gaps in this game and, reward those that are just better. And that's what Call of Duty should do. I really think Call of Duty needs to just look at Battlefield 6. And we're already seeing them kind of do it right now, but look at it, see what the community is responding to, see how much we like, and just put it in Call of Duty. I mean, you guys used to have it in your game where the aim assist was not that strong, yet for some reason you just buffed it up, even though the cheating, I mean, maybe you're doing it to help us legit players fight against these cheaters, even though it's not even, still not possible to beat them. Just get a better aim to cheat, but I don't know, man. They need to look at Battlefield 6, look at how they're doing this entire graph to figure out their game and make it the best it's going to be, because it's going to pop off, trust me, and just bring that to Black Ops 7. And maybe you can save the franchise.
They confirmed that wasn't actually active in the beta build of the game, whereas that's something that we've seen, I believe, with every previous Battlefield game that I can remember, at least on controller. They've had that snapping aim assist that I was never really a big fan of.
No, they should take that out. On a
somewhat related note here, later on in the interview, they were asked, what can you say to reassure console players specifically who are worried about jumping in day one? And one of the answers here, which is great, is we've been thinking about console and the console experience from the start of Battlefield 6. It has been a top-of-the-line thing. We have to build this game as if it was made primarily for console players.
Wow.
Obviously, we're still also thinking about PC players, but in the past, frankly, Battlefield was built as a PC game and then ported to console, and it probably felt like that. That is not how this game was built. We built this from the beginning with the idea that this is going to be on both console and PC. It has to feel and play like it's a console game that was built to be a console game.
Wow, I might actually have to buy this on console from hearing that, ladies and gentlemen. For all you console players, that's some good news. Man, I love it. I think they know, and this is why I'm saying, like, they're listening to the community, all jokes aside, like, straight up. I think they know the majority of customers or people that play this game are on console. And the fact that, they wouldn't focus on console in the first place makes no sense. So I'm glad that whoever's in charge of this game and whoever's in charge of making these decisions is listening and realizing this stuff. And it's common sense. Why wouldn't you focus on console? Most people have a console. Not many people have PCs. I mean, more people are game PCs, but it's still not as many.
And as somebody that primarily prefers playing my games on console, this is also excellent news. I've definitely felt what he mentioned there in the past with previous Battlefield games. There have been instances where it definitely felt like it was a PC game that was ported to console. It wasn't really the greatest experience. And when I would switch over and play PC, even if I played on controller on PC, it played significantly better on PC compared to console. Much more so than with many other games where I played both the console and PC version. So I'm glad to see that that was a big focus for them. And I think that really came out throughout the beta as well. I played the beta entirely on PlayStation 5 and it ran and played great for me. Now after that, when asked about maps and whether or not there'd be any adjustments to the maps based on feedback from the beta and Battlefield Labs, they did mention there will be some changes coming to smooth out the overall gameplay experience, but they also really wanted to make sure that each map shines, and he clarified there are going to be choke points, there are going to be rough spots, and there are going to be really sick holds that are going to happen, but there have been active discussions and active changes when it comes to massaging things a little bit, like moving MCOMs or objective points around when it came to certain feedback. So from the sounds of this, it doesn't look like they're really making any map changes outside of maybe fixing some exploits, like getting under the map in some spots. And instead, we may see some adjustments to certain objective points. They might move those around a little bit. However, I
really don't think they need to make that many changes to the maps. I enjoyed every single map that I played on this game during the beta. I'm not even joking. And I know those are only, I think we played 4 different maps or 3 different maps. No, 4 different maps. And every single one I enjoyed. I'm not even joking. I thought it was a blast. I thought they played great. You had, you know, so many ways you could get around and be able to flank people if they were holding certain points. If they were camping in a building, you blow up the building. Best part about Battlefield 6, you can get rid of the campers. So that was awesome. Overall, I thought it was amazing. The least favorite map I would probably say is the one he's playing on right now. I think it was called Empire or something like that. But it still was very enjoyable for a lot of different game modes. Whether you're playing the little 8v8, little team deathmatch or domination modes, or even conquest. I thought it was great. So I'm excited for all the new maps. I don't think they need to make any changes in my honest opinion. I mean, maybe other people will disagree, but overall, compared to Call of Duty, they're killing it.
That he clarified that there are going to be some rough spots on maps, and I think that's actually a good thing. I think it's important to have that because that brings a lot of character to the maps as well. If you just make every map perfectly balanced in every single situation, that's going to get boring, and also the maps will end up lacking character when doing that. So it seems like based on this, they are aiming for that middle ground where, yes, they're making some adjustments, but they're not going to be totally removing the character that the maps have in the beta in order to reach a more perfect sense of balance.
I agree with Exclusive Ace there. I mean, that's a great point. You got to have some opportunities to allow people to kind of take over the map. I mean, if they're going to, you know, play the game the way it's supposed to be played, if they're going to dominate the map, they should be able to take over those parts of the map to, you know, take control of it. And if you want to be that person that takes control of it, you got to kill those people, kind of take over that position, and that's that. So, I mean, that's what makes it more fun. If you're the one that's going to be bitching and complaining about that, you want everything to be fair. You're probably a fan of SBMM. I don't know. I mean, there's obviously some things that might be too broken, but I didn't see any of that during the beta.
One big piece of feedback that a lot of people had throughout the beta, myself included, was auto spotting. It was just a little too powerful. They were asked, is that going to be tweaked at all? Or is it going to be as it was in the beta?
Auto spotting?
And he said they actually just submitted fixes and changes for it literally just last week. And he clarified they reduced the duration, the range, and everything across the board to really hit that system and align it more appropriately with what they want. And he did say these were some considerable changes to the system. And that sounds great to me. I'm looking forward to getting my hands on the game at launch to see just how much this has changed, but I'm glad to see they took that feedback into account from the beta.
I'm telling you, they're already killing it. They're already killing it with the feedback. They're already making changes just from, you know, the 2 beta weekends that they have. I hope Black Ops 7 will do the same when Black Ops 7 beta happens in beginning of October, because they really need to. They need to be on top of their game. It's just awesome to see that Battlefield 6 is making some really good changes, and we're actually seeing some very good news so far halfway through this video, but we're still about to get to some of the bad news, and hopefully it's not as bad as so many people think, but again, let's see.
And now let's get into the part that has a lot of people in the community worked up right now.
Yep.
At the very least, I think it should be raising some eyebrows. And this is in regards to how grounded or realistic the skins are. They were basically asked, will Battlefield stick to its guns when it comes to maintaining a non-goofy aesthetic? And I'm going to read this one in full because I think it is important to see the full context, not just the one part that a lot of people are talking about. The first answer here is, I think we're really happy with where we are. We want to be a gritty, realistic shooter. Other games can and should be whatever they want to be. And then apparently he laughed, probably thinking about Call of Duty here. And he said, like, we're not, I don't know, Fortnite is pretty goofy and that game is pretty good. So I think where we end up is we're pretty happy with where we are. We are a gritty, grounded, realistic shooter. That's what we intend to be. And that's what the game is going to look like for a while. And that for a while at the end of the sentence is really raising some eyebrows. What does that mean exactly? Does that mean they're going to stay grounded and gritty and realistic until season 2 and then all of that goes out the window and we suddenly have cartoon characters running around? Obviously, that's got people jumping to various conclusions and thinking that that's what's going to happen, and who knows, maybe they end up going that route.
Before we hear what Exclusive Ace has to say, I'm going to give you guys my thoughts and opinions from that quote. I don't think, just by looking at the gameplay, just by looking at this game, I don't think it's possible for this game to get any goofy skins out there like BEAVIS and BUTTHEAD, American Dad, you know, any stuff like that. I don't think it's possible just from the look of the overall gameplay and how realistic it is. Because, and again, you got to think about it, these guys are really thinking about the feedback from the community. The feedback from the community was they love the realistic shooter part about this. They do. I haven't heard anybody ask for goofy skins. I haven't seen anybody ask for, you know, the crazy blueprint models blowing up with unicorn farts everywhere. I haven't seen that. So I don't find it possible for them to do that within Battlefield 6. Now, could I be totally wrong? I could be. But if I was to put my money on it, if I was to put my house on it, I would totally say that they treat it like this. Now, they might add some very bright colored, operators with, maybe they sponsor with Monster, kind of like Monster sponsor with Call of Duty, and they do a really bright green or they do a bright pink, whatever. They might do that. Who knows? But I think that's the goofiest, if you want to call it goofy, that Battlefield 6 will go. There's no way that they're going to do anything crazy with like heads of animals on the operators. I just don't think that's possible. So I think that quote's being taken a little bit out of context or over, looked at, because I think the game's going to have a great launch. I think everybody's going to love what this game's going to be. It's just like how the beta was. Everyone loved it. People were playing it for hours, and it's just going to have an overall great just reaction to the launch. And I find it very unlikely that they do that with the skins and with the game itself, because this is what people have been asking for years, and they listened, and I think they're seeing the positivity from that. Maybe he just wanted to spark some stuff there, or he just said it in a way he didn't really mean. So I don't think the skins are going to go crazy.
I personally doubt they'd go that far with it when it comes to Battlefield. I think they definitely have a more sense of groundedness overall. But I also wouldn't be surprised at all if they start pushing those limits and crossing the line, at least for some people. Everybody's got a different line as far as what they consider to be too goofy, too out there. And for me, one of the big things attracting me to Battlefield 6 is the aesthetic and the very grounded feel, especially coming off of Black Ops 6, where they push things way across the line for a lot of people. And I know many others are feeling the same way. This is a huge selling point and competitive advantage that Battlefield has, and I really don't want to see them deviate from this. I know it's going to be tempting for them because there is post-launch revenue to be made, and skins like that do tend to sell fairly well and they attract the whales. But at the same time, it has a tendency to push a lot of players away from the game because they have no control over the skins that other people are using. And those skins can have a big impact on the general aesthetic of the game and the sense of immersion that you have into the world that you're playing in.
This is what I've said about Call of Duty, and I understand their business model, but to me, it doesn't make sense. Call of Duty puts all those operator skins, all those bundles out because in the short term, they're going to get a lot of money from it because they're costing, what, $20, $30 for every single bundle. And in the short term, they're making a lot of money. But in the long term, you are seeing the effect of nobody or a lot of people are not going to be playing Black Ops 7. A lot of people have a bad thought of Black Ops 7 before it even comes out, before any gameplay is out, because of what they've done over the past 5 years. So in the short term, yes, you can make a lot of money. And yes, Battlefield 6 could possibly make a lot of money. But in the long term, Call of Duty has lost players. Battlefield is gaining players because they are going to this realistic look, this organic gameplay. And that's what attracted people to this game. So I find it very, like I said, unlikely that they go and do a total different route of that to make maybe short-term money. Because at the end, if Call of Duty players see that in Battlefield 6, I'm telling you, they're going to leave the game. They're not going to want to play it. They're going to want a refund for the game because it's not what they wanted in the first place. So, like I said, Battlefield 6, I feel like the devs are very smart, okay? I feel like they understand over the past how many years of all the bitching and complaining us Call of Duty players have had. I think they know what the FPS gaming community wants. And if you want those crazy skins, go to Black Ops 7. We all know that's going to be there. So I don't think it's going to happen.
In saying that, I do want to go over the other answer from the other developer here as well. And he said, from the design side, we are aware of what other products are doing, but we're really focused on what works for Battlefield at the end of the day.
See, exactly.
We're not chasing trends. We're not chasing other products. I think a perfect example of the skins we're still committed to releasing is the Road to Battlefield 6 event that's going on in 2042. Those are 30 premium skins that will give a player a taste of what is more to come when we talk about cosmetics in the Battlefield 6 product line. Generally, I think from a design perspective, we're doing us, we're staying in our lane, doing us at the end of the day.
I love it.
That's a bit more of a reassuring answer. However,
see, exactly. I think it's all overhyped or over, thought, because at the end of the day, they're going to do what Battlefield is, and that's realistic shooter. And that's what we want. That's what we want.
That for a while part is just really hard to overlook when it comes to this.
I agree.
And I know, in the grand scheme of things, gameplay is far more important than skins, but skins have become a much hotter topic of debate, especially within the Call of Duty community, but we're seeing it bleed into other games as well. I think for good reason. I think with the more modern style of monetization, many old school players are seeing what we've lost with this new style of monetization because, let me put my old man hat on, back in my day, you didn't get to select your skin in the vast majority of first-person shooters. And therefore, the aesthetic of the game remained consistent from day one until the end of that game's life cycle. Or you can even go back and play some of those old games right now. It still has that same great unified aesthetic. And that's something that you just don't see anymore. It starts off great and unified, and it just degrades over time, and it just gets worse and worse with most games. And I suspect you're going to be seeing that with Battlefield 6. Personally, if I could keep the aesthetic that we saw in the beta, where literally everybody on the team has the same aesthetic, although you'd see some slight differences depending on the class that you're using, I would love for that to be just the game and how it looks like forever.
And I think that's what it's going to be. I think that's what Battlefield 6 wants. Maybe you can change the color of it and stuff like that. Just little minor changes here and there. But overall, I think it's going to be realistic. That's basically the video. And I just want to let you guys know, man, straight up, skins to a lot of people are not that big of an issue. They're an issue that is just not their priority. They just want the game to be fun, and if the skins are there, it is what it is. I'm kind of on that trend, but when it comes to Call of Duty, I don't think the skins should be even in the game at all, because as you guys know, the game sucks. But for Battlefield 6, if they were, I'm gonna tell you guys straight up, if they were to bring in skins that are crazy dumb, it would be a very big letdown for me, and I feel like for a lot of you. Let me know in the comment section below. And I just find it like it would be a betrayal to everybody that wanted to play this game, because we wanted to play this game because it's fun, number one, but two, because it looks real. It feels realistic. It feels like, not like OG Call of Duty, but it feels closer than any OG Call of Duty than what we played the past 5 years. So I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's going to happen, and I really do hope that it's not going to happen, but I find it very hard for me to even think that that's a possibility. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe. You know, go look at Exclusive Ace's video down below. Leave him a like. Subscribe to his channel. Very good channel. Very good content creator. And I always feel like it's great to do these videos. A lot of people give me shit about these, and they're like, dude, get your own content. Boys and girls, I always think it's great to get other people's opinions in the video as well as mine, because just giving you guys my opinion, I could just literally make an entire video just telling you guys exactly what he told you. But obviously, you know, having two different opinions is always better. So I apologize if you guys don't like this stuff. I really don't mean to hurt anybody's feelings. I like doing them. And if you guys hate them, just please let me know. Or just spam that you hate them. I don't know. But I'll try my best if it's that big of a deal. But shout out to everybody. Hope you guys have a great day. Hit that like button, subscribe. I'm out this bitch. Peace.